The Grow My Cleaning Company podcast helps owners of cleaning companies just like you to grow your company and yourself so you can make more money and finally get the time and money freedom that probably got you into this business. Discover how to automate and create systems that allow you to grow like crazy without losing control. If you dig the show and want to show some love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. It really helps. Enjoy the show.
What is up, Cleaning Nation? I'm Lindsay Bjorklund, the Client Happiness Manager, producer here at the Grow My Cleaning Company podcast. I'm so pumped to be back with you today with the fabulous Tracey Thompson. And if you are on video, if you're watching this on video, you can see some hilarious stuff. This was not planned at all. We're getting close to the holidays, so happy holidays. Tracey showed up in fabulous red, and I showed up in a green hat, which was not planned at all.
And my snowflake earrings. So, we're very festive here.
We're very festive. So happy holidays to everyone out there in Cleaning Nation. We're just so happy and grateful we get to do our jobs. So with that being said, today we have a huge topic to deep dive into. And I'm going to let Tracey explain it better than me, but we see it all the time. And it's basically around the holidays, really any time of year, but especially now in winter, stuff happens. People are gone for the holidays. Your workers they get sick, God forbid. And then you're suddenly left with less workers than you thought. And you might have to go into the field again. So Tracey, I'm going to let you take it away.
All right, Clean Nation. Yes. Hello. This is a big, and I just want to preface this by saying, most people we talk to, most business owners in the cleaning industry we talk to, really truly believe that this is a circumstance. This is a situational problem. And it isn't. It's a mindset. It's a mindset issue first. And then it's a strategy problem second. So I just want to pre-frame that. And the way that I talk about this is that when you're running a business, there's always going to be, plan A is everything goes as planned. Everything is just everyone shows up, everyone's doing the job, everyone's performing. But when that doesn't happen, there has to be a plan B. And too much of the time, Lindsay and Clean Nation, the plan B usually is me if I'm a business owner, if I'm the owner. So I'm sure that you're out there thinking, okay, I'm going to plan everything as if plan A is always going to be the case. But when you have a crisis, is plan B you every single time? And if that's the case, then really, truly, you become the single point of failure in your business. Because every time you're going to be pulled in 25 different directions simultaneously, and that's no way to run a business. So there we go. Plan B cannot be me.
Plan B cannot be me. Okay. So I kind of want to just back it up a little. Yes. So first of all, do you see it? Okay. So before we get to plan B can't be me, I feel like a decision, like a line has to be drawn in the sand of I will not clean. Right. Not only will plan B not be me, but especially with cleaning, we just see so many of our clients in Cleaning Nation get sucked back into it. So can you evaluate a little more on what that looks like, the first step?
Absolutely. So you said something really, really important there. You have to decide. You have to decide before the crisis hits. Okay. So when the crisis is already here, it's too late. It's usually too late. Why? Because you just assumed that if something happens, you're going to be the plan B. You're going to dive in. You're going to be the one to go back out in the field. You're going to be and so if you don't decide before the crisis that no matter what, you're not going to go out and clean, you will be cleaning. That's just how it goes. It's just how it turns out. So what we end up hearing when cleaning company owners come into our program, as an example, in Clean Profit, is they come and they say the same thing. Mike, Tracey, you don't understand. I had to go back out into the field. I had to clean. And of course, Mike and I gently every time say, well, you didn't have to. You chose by not creating a plan B that wasn't you. Okay. So that's what the decision has to come first. And then you create your plan B that isn't me, right? That's where we're going with this. You've got to tell yourself, because it's not going to be me, I need a plan B and a plan C and a plan D that is not me. Okay. So that starts with a decision. And I know that sounds deceptively simple. You're like, okay, it can't be that easy. I can't just decide. Yeah, you really can. And that's exactly where it starts every single time. So here's how I help people kind of wrap their head around this. So imagine for a moment that, God forbid, something happens to you and your doctor tells you you absolutely cannot go out and clean. It could kill you. It's like literally, I'm telling you, you are not going back out in the field. That's just not going to happen. Now imagine if that were the case and you could not be your company's plan B anymore. What would you do different? How would you manage that? What would you do? Who would you call? How would you create backups? See, as soon as we put ourselves there, we immediately force our brain to think more creatively and go, well, I would have to figure it out. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Right? So if you could do it, if you had to, then you can choose to do it before you need to.
Oh my gosh. Stop, pause. That is so good. Choose to do it before you need to.
Right.
That is okay. So this sounds so basic to everyone, but I think just to interject here, and I'm not a cleaner, I'm not a cleaning business owner, but in my life, I've seen whenever I have to make a big decision, sometimes when you have to make a ton of decisions throughout the day and you don't have a plan, you can have decision fatigue. You can be more reactionary than taking a moment and pausing and being like, let me look at my plan. Let me look at option B, C, D, like going down the freaking alphabet. So I like that you pointed that out. So
and Lindsay, maybe it would be useful to Clean Nation to talk about what some of those plan B, plan C, plan D looks like. Would that be good?
Yes. Okay. Yes, let's do it.
Okay. Because I know I can almost hear it now, but you don't understand, Tracey. I don't have anybody else. I don't have a plan B. How could I ever get out of the field? It has to be me. Okay. So I'm going to share some of the creative ways that we have had this discussion as a group and individually with the owners inside our program of how they've created their plans B, C, D, E, F, G, right? And I always like to say, listen, you should be plan Z, as in the zombie apocalypse has to happen before you go out in the field, okay?
I love it.
So, plan Z. All right. So most people in our world, plan B is to call another one of your cleaners. In other words, you've got your own team. They also hire floaters. So within the team, they have people that their whole job is to fill in and to make sure that their schedule is flexible and they don't have a typical like normal route, if you will. So they're floaters. So plan B is to call your own people, see who can fill in, and have that be a system within your company. So a system where your cleaners, for example, can call each other to have them cover. You have a system for them to contact each other. You have a floater, at least one, on your staff at all times. So that's plan B. That's very common, plan B. Plan C, as an example, Now we're like, okay, we've exhausted plan B. Now we're still understaffed. So for example, let's say you have 3 of your 8 cleaners get COVID. It happens, right?
It
And you've got
does.
3 people out all at the same time. You're like, all right, now we need to go to plan C. So what does plan C look like? So for most, and this is where we get creative. If you've decided you're not going to be plan B, C, D, if you're going to not do that, then plan C is really great. And plan C is where you have outside your organization, you have agreements with either other companies, right? Other cleaning companies, other similar like service-based companies in your area, that they have staff that they will loan you temporarily, or you have somebody on standby that can fill in. Okay. So forging those relationships, having that plan C in place. And most people go like, wow, can I really do that? Yes, you really can. And most of our company owners do that. They have people they have relationships with. So that's plan C. Plan D is to move clients around, to move their cleaning times and that's not preferable. Obviously, that's why it's plan D, but that is more preferable. It's more desirable than you going out in the field, you going back out into the field. And I know this is where most cleaning company owners are like, well, now I don't know about that, Tracy. I don't know. Moving clients, I'm not sure. Why? When I could go out there again, I can do it. It's so easy for me. That's where we really have to test our decision. We have to really have a strong why. Why are we not cleaning? And honestly, Lindsay, this is where we have to build up a muscle we don't typically have. And that is having a bigger, better why, big why story. Why wouldn't, and let's throw it out there. Think about it. Why wouldn't a cleaning company owner just go out and clean? What would be a good reason? What do you think, Lindsay? What would be a good reason for them not to?
Yeah, well, I have a lot of thoughts about this actually, but being not technically a business owner and grow my cleaning company sense, but I know for me, whenever I have smaller admin tasks that I can do and I know I can do them fast, I always have to step back and think, is this the best use of my time as the client happiness manager? Is there someone else I can hand this to that I literally have to have a plan B, C, D? I have subs of my subs, so I don't do that work anymore. So yeah, to get back to it, I would think you as the business owner, you have bigger fish to fry, shall we say, that you need to be spending your time on. So your time would be better spent, in my opinion, on setting up those systems so you never have to clean again. And
yes. Oh my gosh, you hit it right on the head. So what I do is I share with everyone, and Mike says this too. So like, okay, I call it the hierarchy, right? The pyramid of value that you as the owner bring to the company. And if you look at it, the top of the pyramid, I'm making like a triangle with my hands.
Tracy is making Illuminati signs if you are listening on the podcast and not watching video.
It's so the top of the pyramid is the smallest part in terms of scope of work. It's funny because it's the most effective and the most concentrated. It doesn't feel like the bottom of the pyramid, which is the widest and has the most of it, and that's cleaning. That's the bottom of the value pyramid that you bring to your company. Believe it or not, that's at the bottom. There's so much more of it. But at the very top, the potency of what's at the top, and that is system building. You just said it. And culture building the culture around your core values and being that leader, being the systems builder, so that the rest of the organization, so you're the one controlling everything. Think about it like this. If you're a pilot an airline pilot. And there's a problem in the back of the airplane with the food or the, whatever. Do you see the pilot getting out of the seat and walking to the back of the plane and tending to the food issue that's going on or whatever? No, that would be crazy.
Would be terrifying.
Right? Like, that's
be
scary.
trying to get off that plane.
Exactly.
Flying that airline again.
Yeah.
There's a
Which
problem.
airline is this? No, that's not the pilot's job. And it's so clear to us in that scenario, but that's where it gets muddy for a lot of business owners is they don't process this at, gosh, you know what? My highest and best valuable use of my time for my business is at that very top level of building culture, being a leader, and creating these systems within my company so that things like these crisis situations that come up are not me going to the back of the plane to fix it. Okay. So really, truly, you have to have a really strong why. Why am I not cleaning story to combat the part of our brain, we call it the monkey mind, right? That says, no, you have to go clean. You have to go clean. There isn't anybody else, right? So there you go.
Yeah, wow. There's so many good points on here. And I know we're kind of bouncing around, but in a really good way. I was just thinking too that the why comes back to a mindset and also a muscle, right? You have to train your mindset muscle to combat the monkey mind. And I think from what I've observed, Tracey, and I'm sure you can speak to this too, a lot of this issue of you being the plan B stems from people that have built their own businesses from the ground up.
Right.
So they're like boots on the ground, wear all the hats. And it's just a huge switch. I love it when we see our clients have that light bulb moment. Well, it's not really a moment. It's a series of decisions, really, where they climb to the top of that pyramid so they can be that one point where they're the decision maker. They're the ones making the system. So just wanted to add that in there too. I think it's a process too. I don't think it happens overnight.
No, it's absolutely. It starts with one decision at a time. But the major decision that sparks is sort of the hub for all the other decisions. The subsequent decisions are the big one is I will not clean. I am an owner of a cleaning company that does not clean. I do not clean. That decision is more than a decision. It's an identity. If they identify themselves, it's kind of like saying, I know the one that Mike uses all the time is he said, I'm a non-smoker. I don't smoke. So if I'm at a party and someone says, hey man, you want to smoke? You don't go, well, it depends. Let me see, what kind is it? Is it, no, you just say, no, I'm not a smoker. Now, if you used to be a smoker, an ex-smoker, if you have not adopted the identity now that I am no longer a smoker, now I'm a non-smoker, I am an ex-smoker, I do not smoke today, even if I used to, you still say no for the same reasons because I'm a non-smoker. So this is the way they need to adopt the identity. So all of you out there, if you're trying to make this decision, you can't say, well, I'm a cleaner. I'm a cleaner who owns a cleaning company. And sometimes I clean, but I really don't want to. Like, that's not going to work. Trust me. Anytime there's a crisis, you will be back out in the field. So it requires that you completely shift that whole paradigm of how you see yourself. Your whole identity has to shift around to I am not a cleaner. I am an ex-cleaner. I am now an owner who does not clean. Period. There you go.
So good. So good. We could probably talk about this subject for an hour. I'm sure we'll have a related part 2 one day, but just to recap a little bit. So making the decision is first, like you just mentioned. Also, my takeaway from this episode is to literally write down your plan B, your plan C, and make sure plan Z is you in the zombie apocalypse all the way at the bottom. Like I would literally write that down if I was a cleaning business owner, and I would post it on my wall in front of my workplace. So anytime I got a call and someone calls out, I would look at my list and go down the list. That's what I would do.
And Lindsay, that's so important. Share it with your team.
Yes.
Let your team know that you are now plan Z and that they are to call each other first. They are to support that you will not be in the field. And this is a podcast for another day. That's when people who have been in the cleaning, in the field start to feel guilty when they're an owner. They're like, oh, but if my people are out there cleaning and I'm not, I feel guilty. That's a podcast for another day. But if that's what you're feeling, okay, if that's what you're feeling, then that's evidence that you haven't developed a strong enough story around your ownership, being the owner and the value you bring to your business as an owner yet. So that's really what you need to focus on also. So the tactical that we're talking about and that mindset muscle that you practice. And honestly, getting around other people, having a community that supports that. I mean, really, truly here in Clean Nation, and especially inside our programs where we have committed cleaning company owners who are all there to support one another to leave the field. To stop cleaning is so important, because if you're surrounded by people who keep telling you that you should be out there in the field, that's so hard. It's so much harder than it needs to be. So.
Well, Tracey, I'm gonna let you have the last word there on this subject, because that was so good. The two-prong approach there, tactical and mindset. And speaking of the more tactical approach to things, right now, what is today? Today's December 15th, as we're recording this, 2021. Yes. If you go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk, assuming you like what you're hearing here, you want to have more, you want to get in that community, Mike right now is taking some coaching calls, and he hasn't done this in a while, and it's really cool to see him do it again. So if you want to have the opportunity to jump on a call with Mike and actually learn more about what we do, how we can help you clarify your goals, get you to where you want to be, especially if that's getting out of cleaning forever, which I'm sure after this holiday season is at the top of your list. Yes. Check it out at growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. Tracey, thanks for being festive with me. Happy holidays, Cleaning Nation. I wish I had like reindeer ears on to be funny.
I should have gotten mine. I have some, but I didn't wear them.
Of course you do. All right, Cleaning Nation, we'll see you next time. And it sounds like we'll talk about guilt maybe. All right.
Maybe. All right.
Bye-bye.
Peace out, guys.
Well, here we are, the end of the podcast, and you made it. Great job. I've got a little bonus for you for sticking through with me, but like I mentioned before, if you got value out of this podcast and you want to show a little love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Spotify, wherever the heck you're listening to this thing. Share with a friend, share the love. And as a special thank you for those of you that stuck with me to the end, how about I give you my personal phone number so we can text? It's a great way for me to get to know you, your business, your goals personally. So shoot me a text now, 602-932-6431. 602-932-6431. I am the only one who responds to these texts, and I will personally respond to everyone I possibly can as long as this number is manned. Don't know how long we're going to keep this at the end of the podcast, so grab it now. 602-932-6431. Give me a text, say hey, can't wait to meet you.